child in Valorant has heard the tale before about the cursed mummy boy who felt his heart no more. So sad and lorn, the helpless lad, Amumu was his name. He ventured out to find a friend and learn about his bane. For many years, young Amumu traveled through the lands, determined to make friends if only they would understand. But even when Amumu stood upon the ledge of home, his hope would disappoint him, and he would remain alone. But then the curse began to whisper in his ear. It would confirm what was Amumu's biggest fear. It pledged that never shall someone become his friend. It pledged that he shall be alone until his end. Sorrow and despair became too much to bear. The moment when Amumu realized what he had done, too late it was for him, for them, the evil curse had won. The anger and the anguish overwhelmed his fragile soul and caused a wicked tantrum that he never could control.
Hey, what's going on, Twitch chat? Welcome to Casual EAL for another match this season. We've got Imagine Infernal today on the blue side for game number 1 versus Team Harmony, who's on the red side for game 1. I think this is the first Ionia match that's getting casted, so the top tier of our league in terms of divisions and how they're laid out. Should be a really, really cool match. I'll be your color caster for today, and along with me here is Autumn. Autumn, welcome to the
Hi.
stream and the cast, buddy.
Hi, been a while. Glad to be back into this wonderful madness. Hope everyone enjoys it. Hope both teams play well.
Yeah,
And so
yeah. I will say it right off the bat here. Imagine Infernal is one of several Imagine teams that are in the league. I'm on one of those Imagine rosters, but I will try to remain as impartial as possible throughout the cast today. Mainly because if they're from the organization that I play for, I'll want to rip on them anyway. So, all right. Anyway, we will probably be getting started with the pro draft here pretty soon because both of the teams are already in the lobby. Both of the teams are all ready to go. I guess they're probably pretty excited for the match today. So yeah. Is there anything on him that you think we're gonna see today in this matchup? Anything that you think both these teams might prioritize or decide to do?
I can't say I've been the most observant as far as the individual players or teams, and we're definitely early in the season. But I have heard some rumblings that Jin among AD carries has been somewhat oppressive under the new item system.
He is the
So
top. He is the top 80 carry right now. Yeah, so probably
see
we'll
that.
see him get banned or picked in both games.
Infernal. Imagine Infernal has banned Illusion, and we've gone out with the Riven band from Team Harmony. So somebody's a Riven one trick.
Yeah, it looks like they want to take care of the Riven here. If memory serves me, I think that would be one of the mid laners champions for Imagine Infernal. I think he's the Riven player.
Coming up next, we have the Hover on the Skarner band. So I'm not sure if this is paying homage to Captain Flowers or if Skarner's actually strong, but he is banned anyway, and probably a good idea.
Yep, Skarner's annoying to play against. He's never easy to go up against. You always have to watch out for him, especially if you're trying to find the jungle or worrying about a contested objective. Really annoying to deal with.
Tanky as
Gnar,
well,
okay.
easy ganks. Yeah, top lane focus coming down hard from Team Harmony. It's a solid idea there. Remove the Orin, remove, I think, still one of the best tanks in the game.
Yeah,
That
Ornn's still good. He's still pretty good.
hasn't changed in a year and a half.
Yep. You can't keep him down. That passive is just too good, man. Just getting free upgrades on weapons. It's too nice.
And Olaf out as well. So that's a lot of engage and chase that has been removed. And straight off the bat, Imagine Infernal responds with a set. So there's still engage and chase and a decent amount of early game power coming off of that champion.
Yeah, I've always liked Set as a champion. Aside from being a really cool design for a champion with his kit, he's just really fun to play. But we see Team Harmony here hovering in Samira, and Samira being the newest AD carry in the game. I find that in lower elos, Samira's pretty hit or miss. You're either going to get somebody in solo queue who's really good with her or really bad with her. So hopefully they won't have that inconsistency problem on Team Harmony, and they picked her for a good reason, and she'll be pretty strong. Nautilus is a great support to pair up with her, by the way. That's an excellent pairing.
So there is one thing to note here why you would pick Samira. Set support is still valid, and he still can do some very unpleasant things to an AD carry that gets caught out. So Samira actually offers a little bit of safety with that one, and she's also an AD carry that actually wants to be in melee. So kind of picking a possible melee support, and then running into her, and that doesn't really help the situation either, actually, because Kaisa also wants to be close.
Yeah, so Kaisa, like about a month ago in the preseason meta, the top 2 AD carries were Jin, like he still is, but Misfortune was the other top tier AD carry, and she has since been replaced by Kaisa. So Kaisa is the number 2 most powerful AD carry if you just look at solo queue stats.
Ooh, there's going to be a Morgana lock in here as well.
Yeah, Kaisa can be insanely strong. Now, just because of the Morgana lock-in, that's probably a set top lane or a set jungle. It's probably a Morgana support. But I have seen Morgana played in mid. I've seen her played in jungle. I've seen crazier things. So
yeah, well, she got a rework a few months back specifically to put her in jungle. I think that the only thing that did was to put her in mid. But
yeah, so I mean, Set's probably going to Taco to be honest, but
yeah, most likely.
We can still speculate and hope that Set's going somewhere else. Renekton's a good pick. I like Renekton a lot right now in the meta. I've seen some people take him mid, try him out there into certain matchups, but that's probably a top lane Renekton if we're being honest. Malzahar,
also,
Vladimir are great bands, by the way.
Yeah, 80 carries rejoice. All suppressions are gone. Well, except for Urgots, but nobody cares.
Yeah, so Malzahar is just really good right now in the meta. He's got like the mythic item Leandries just made Malzahar a better champion this season so far. So he's a good pick to ban out there. Ari getting banned makes perfect sense. She's a good champion in the hands of Imagine Infernal's mid laner. Makes a lot of sense here to take her out there. Final ban coming in here from Imagine Infernal. Hopefully we get something spicy, something that we're not expecting. It's Fizz.
I don't know if I consider that spicy. I consider that more savory, but then again, I'm not a connoisseur of fish. So, yeah, Fizz is gone. There'll be no assassins, no jumping around, no avoiding damage for free today. But one has to wonder if that's banning a pocket pick or banning something that someone doesn't want to play against.
Yeah, I guess every time I've ever banned Fizz, it's just been because Fizz was good in the meta, and it's just I don't want to deal with that annoyance. But that's always been my logic with the Fizz ban. Blitzcrank coming in, so now maybe that's not a Nautilus support anymore.
No, that is in fact a Gragas.
Oh, okay, so that's a
Pro-draft
mispick.
Yeah,
Okay.
we had the ever-present pro-draft bugs.
Okay, so that Blitzcrank is actually a Gragas, ladies and gentlemen. I'll probably still be confused anyway.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Vel'Koz. Ooh,
Vel'Koz.
okay.
That's
Okay.
definitely mid.
Yeah,
So,
Vel'Koz. I like Vel'Koz. I like this. I like what Imagine Immortal. Oh wow, I almost said Imagine Immortals there. Jeez. I like what Imagine Infernal is doing with their comp so far. There's a lot of CC and lockdown for Kaisa to get her ultimate. I like that. Not necessarily meaning that they're going to be able to pull it off, but I like the theme of the comp at the very
Yeah.
least.
there is a little bit of weakness here in that they're not the most durable, and which could go wrong if they ever get involved in a fight that lasts longer than a couple of seconds, especially later on in the game, as both Gragas and Nautilus
Oh,
can be quite tanky. That is a Yone.
okay. So
And,
Yone is, I guess I'm a little bit like that's not unexpected because Yone's a good mid lane pick right now, but I guess I'm a little bit confused from the standpoint of the team comp itself. They only have one
very
source of
physical
AP.
heavy.
Yeah, they only have one source of AP, and that's in Gragas. And I just don't know if that's going to be enough AP because if I was on the side of Infernal, I'd just be stacking armor if I'm building any kind of defensive items at all.
I think the reason why they're doing this is because realistically, if you look at their team composition, there are two champions on that team that can build armor and have it not be a detriment to their build late game. That is Set and Lee Sin.
Yes,
Neither of
they
whom
can
are
both
particularly
build
good
semi.
at tanking.
Yeah, they can both build like semi-tanky, have a little bit of defensive in their builds. Nautilus, of course, on Harmony can build very tanky if he wants to.
Same with Gragas.
Yeah, Gragas can build tankier too. Renekton, not so much. Renekton, he already has a rough time putting down damage as it is in the mid and late game.
He's probably going to be more building towards that split push. That's what I suspect the Yone is also going to be going towards as well. And they could, I think, and this is just the opinion of in Iron for Lulu main, they're building primarily to allow the pick capabilities off of Agragas, Nautilus, and Samira, stick those in the mid lane around the mid game, and have your Renekton and Yone split to try to draw pressure off, or to try to force Imagine Infernal to make some sort of positioning mistake.
Yeah, and I mean, Yone can be quite annoying for getting picks as well. If he gets dashes off with that ultimate, it's the range that he can move is kind of nuts. So there's that.
It does to me, however, look like Imagine Infernals kind of has a similar idea between. I mean, Kaisa can get some pretty good wave clear. Morgana, it makes this a lane you physically can never gank. And between a Kaisa and a Vel'Koz, whatever lane they're parked in is a lane that's not getting to tower. So at that point, it's a matter of, are they going to try to split with a Lee Sin, which you could theoretically do, but it's a bad idea under most conditions, or are they going to try to use that staying power to try to bait Team Harmony in to try to force a collapse to force towers down?
Yeah. So I'm just pretty interested to see how laning phase goes down here because Harmony obviously wants to be pretty aggressive early on. They obviously want to be aggressive in the laning phase. So it's kind of a question on whether Infernal's going to be affected by that, or if they're going to be able to play safe enough that they can get to mid lane with mid game without minimal losses. My guess is that they can do it. They have enough disengage in this comp that they could be relatively safe in the laning phase. Morgana's spell shield, plus she has a snare in her kit to help her escape. Kai'Sa's got a little bit of a movement speed boost on one of her abilities. Lee Sin can always ward hop away. So they do have a little bit of a safety net. It's just not as much as if they had picked other champions. But I have a feeling like they could probably be pretty safe here.
Yeah. It's safer, I think, is the best way. Of these two, if we're talking about level of safety, they're definitely safer than Team Harmony in terms of where they stand in the laning phase. Especially, it's like ganking a Set. Well, Set wants another champion there anyway because he wants to fight as many people as he can at once, and they'll just use you to stun your partner. Ganking a Vel'Koz, you could try. He's probably standing close to tower. And anything with a Morgana makes that lane untenable to junglers. That you just don't want to get near it.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at the team comps now, I still think that if Harmony plays this hyper aggressive early, often, all the time, I think Harmony can come away with a win here. I think the matchup slightly favors them in that regard because the game itself tends to favor teams that get off to an early snowball anyway right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can get off to that early snowball, I could easily see them picking up the win. But I still think it's sort of a coin flip here between these two teams. I'm leaning towards Harmony winning this game, winning game number 1. But it's like a 55-45 where I'm at on putting my hat in the ring for my pick here.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Not just because, well, for me, it's two primary reasons. Reason number one, their damage spread is abysmal, to say the least. You have a single Gragas, who is not the most high DPS champion already, as your source of magic damage, meaning you're forcing what it would normally want to build tank into that team comp to have to build more damage if you want to have unresisted damage of some kind. Alongside that, it is distinctively a lot harder to play, to play the what is it, 1-3-1. So, that level of execution, yes, the comp is better, but it's a lot harder for them to execute, and that's why I think really brings that down. If they do win in lane, though, they will win hard. As far as Infernal, that's definitely, I mean, anytime you see a Kai'Sa in the team, in the composition already, you're kind of banking a little bit on scaling, because Kai'Sa does better with items naturally. The same with Vel'Koz. You're really hoping for Set and Lee Sin to kind of tee up your early game, because those two are very, very powerful, in the first 10, 15 minutes of the game, especially at that level 6 spike.
Yeah, for me personally, if I would have done anything different in the draft for Infernal here, the only thing I can say right now is that I would have rather had a Syndra instead of a Vel'Koz, because from purely speculation, with the Renekton that he needs to play early, and then once you see that Gragas is also a pick they're going with here, because they picked the Gragas before you locked in the Vel'Koz, that they're pretty early, and Gragas is going to want to gank early and often. So in mid lane, Syndra is a safer pick than Vel'Koz, and you still get roughly the same amount of poke early game from her. So she has built-in means in her kit to stop ganks from being effective on her. And I guess for me personally, I would have rather seen a Syndra lock in instead of the Vel'Koz. But we'll see. Maybe their mid laner is going to prove me wrong. Maybe the mid laner is going to just completely dominate on Vel'Koz, and I'll eat my words. We'll see.
We'll see, as we are now starting up officially. Spectator delay is done. Curse that 3 minutes that Riot makes us wait to see the action. And now the next, few more minutes while we wait for the darn game to load. But hey, while we're looking at it, we get to look at some pretty skins here. And, well, surprisingly, almost every player has a skin. Looking at you two, Yon and Samira. You disappoint us. And there we go.
All right. We should be loading in here pretty soon. So yeah, I like the Obsidian Dragon set prestige skin. Very nice there. Good job, Taco, showing off your skin to everybody. All right, so I'm bringing up my objective timers here so I can better keep track of that. We're on the Rift. Will we see anybody invading, or do you think it's just going to be a spread? By the way, just so that we can match up on time, I'm at 20 seconds right now. Ooh, it looks like Harmony is going to go for a little cheeky invade. I like this invade path from red side. I've always kind of liked this path.
Yeah, looks like, oh, that's already a grab there from the Nautilus, and First Blood goes down. Samira
Ouch.
was standing back to be safe, and that turned out to be her undoing there. She didn't have time to react.
So yeah, hot on the Kaisa. Opts to not flash away after getting caught by Nautilus, which, that's fair. You're probably going to die anyway at that point. Don't waste the summoner spell. I fully understand that. However, kind of surprised that she didn't put down a ward into that tribush as she was running away. That way she could have seen a hook coming in advance, maybe flashed out of the way of the initial hook, and then it would have been fine. Would have survived, not given a kill over. That's a good flash used. So something you can work on there a little bit there, Infernal. If you're getting invaded, just put a ward where the invade is coming from as you're running away.
And after that little engagement there, lanes start pretty much normally. It's like, yeah, both sides starting their bottom side there. Lee Sin has a little bit of a jump. And beyond that, not much else, although Set is doing typical Set things, getting aggressive, trying to control that top lane wave.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I should mention. So both Taco and Koite were on the power rankings for top lane in Unsealed earlier today. So I can't remember which one placed higher in the power rankings, but we'll see if those power rankings hold true between these two players by the time the games are over today.
Yeah, hopefully that some of our better players in the league as well can kind of demonstrate why they belong there in the first place as well while they're doing that. And oh, look at that, we're getting an invasion here already. So
yeah, Lee Sin up here at the red buff, moving into the jungle.
Yeah, he's actually going to complete it before Gragas can get there. From the looks of it. Yep.
Okay.
Quick smite.
All right. Successful invade.
Ooh, yeah, and Gragas. So maybe if Gragas crosses with Body Slam into the red buff pit, maybe then he does it. But now we're gonna see a fight here. Gragas Body Slams in. That actually might be a mistake, as Taco is gonna come down first. Flash is burned.
Ooh.
That blind is possibly getting out. Set goes for the stun, gets it. Yep. Gragas dies on the side there as Taco goes for the kill and gets it. And the kills are spread all around there. Yone, Renekton, and Gragas all taken out in very rapid succession.
Yeah, 1 kill each for the top jungler and mid laner for Imagine Infernal, showing great teamwork up there. I guess, parts of that could have gone either way because Gragas kind of ran away from Renekton there after Set was coming down. I feel like if they had kept fighting there, removed from Vel'Koz, who would have had a harder time getting to the fight, they would have stood more of a chance.
Yeah, definitely a little bit there. It seems like Team Harmony sort of backed off, and Imagine Immortals, they took that up, they saw them retreating. And Taco basically decided that no one's retreating here. We are fighting.
Yep, Taco kind of demanded the fight, let's say, in that situation.
Yeah. He might go down here, though, as he's trading pretty heavily into Renekton. He does go down with the spin. And there was an attempted gank and a failed gank in bot lane. Does look like Flash was burned, so not an entirely failed gank. You did burn the summoner spell, but kills were not had.
Taco teleported back to top lane, so that's one summoner down.
Down. Yep. But he's going to try to use this to get as much damage as he can off on Renekton, and Quiddy is probably going to die here. Oh, no, he's not.
Wow. Taco being a little overly aggressive, a little too confident here.
Yeah, don't think he had Haymaker up for that.
Yeah, it definitely was not back off a cooldown, and he took a lot of minion damage as well while he was fighting Renekton there, which did not help matters. Just gotta pull back a little bit now, Taco. Gotta be a little bit more patient in your next few engages with Renekton, and you should be okay moving into the mid game from there. Just don't want to give up any more kills. So what we're seeing here, though, is that the red side here, Team Harmony, they have a bit of a better setup for Dragon at the moment. They have a little bit more vision in that area than Imagine Infernal does.
They do also have an advantage in bot lane control, but let's not talk about that. As mid lane, there is a fight going down. Ionia is very close to dead. He's forced to burn Flash. Oh, he barely escapes. And Gragas tries to engage as well. And it looks like that's more or less the end of that fight. Except for Gragas sticking around, that could be a bit of an issue there. Oh, that's going to be... Okay, Gragas walks out, but again, cutting it really close on those engagements. That is going to force Gragas... No, he's not going to go. He's just going to hit Raptors and heal up. I forgot about Gragas' ability to do that.
And Renekton uses his ultimate up in top lane to avoid getting killed. Oh, and he gets away with a tower dive on top of it.
Yeah, Renekton, he's at level 6. He's at level 6. He has, looks like his first component item built here with Phage. That is going to be a lot of damage, but he's going to go down to the Lee Sin, though. So he stayed, he greeted for minions, and then he got punched in the face.
All right, so Deathblind gets revenge for his top laner. Deathblind probably being the player to watch out for the most on this Imagine roster right now. Being that he is 2-0-2 and has a bounty on his head. If he dies, he gives up that bounty, of course, as we all know. Something he definitely wants to avoid doing.
Yep. Still a few components here. He's not gone back just yet, and he's got... yeah, he's got about 3,000 gold he's earned so far, so he's actually almost doubling the gold of his direct competition.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of expected that because Gragas was involved in a few more ganks and a few more movements around the map early on versus Lee Sin, who just kind of focused a little bit more on clearing early.
Yeah, more fighting going on in top lane. That's to be expected. I'd actually like to point out, I just know something really unique here that Gragas has. Futures market.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's negative gold.
Oh. Interesting. I did not notice that. Very good of you to point that out for me. I guess we'll have to pay attention to that, see if he gets some items early on that are, earlier than Lee Sin does. If he finishes items at a quicker rate because of that or not. We'll see, I guess.
So far, it looks like he's used it to get the Ember Knife and the Blade Guard mirrors, so I think that's an indicator of where he's kind of going with his build.
Yeah, so in the bot lane here, neither one of them is backed yet to buy their items, except for Samira. She got a longsword as well. So they're going to come back with maybe their full items at this point. No, not quite. They won't come back with their full mythic yet, but it's awfully close.
That's probably about, 500-ish off?
They're pretty close, yeah. It's not that. It's just a couple hundred off, honestly, at this point.
By the way, Lee Sin is doing the dragon in the pit blind. Gragas goes to disrupt him. I don't think he can really do anything about it right now as bot lane's not coming up. Young dies in the mid lane. There's an engagement at bot, though. The spell shield does come down to prevent any further hostilities from Nautilus. But that looks to be the end of that fight. But now Gragas is getting collapsed on by a Kai'Sa. Gragas does steal the dragon, though. Not Kai'Sa, by a Vel'Koz, although there's the Kai'Sa killing the Nautilus. And Vel'Koz kills Samira. Gragas trying to run away, but that doesn't really seem to be an option.
Yeah.
He's quite fat. Oh, there's the flash coming out. He does avoid that. Couple hits from the tower. That's going to hurt a lot, but that seems to be the end of the fight there.
Yeah, Team Harmony, good job stealing the dragon there. However, You drafted for a pick comp in the early laning phase because that's how you're going to get every advantage. And as I'm
sort of talking about that.
Yeah, as I'm sort of criticizing, then Yone comes in and gets a kill.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
you're not
typical Yone, right?
You're tending to get involved in more team fights than actually picking off members of Imagine
Oh,
Infernal.
there's another fight going down in the jungle here. Both junglers are relatively low, but I would not. Oh, he's got vision on it. Yeah, Lee Sin's gonna instead try to give up this, but Set goes in, goes for the superplex, and he does go down. He goes for the haymaker. That buys him some time. Yone's ultimate times out, and he's gone.
All right.
Look
so
like...
they do get the blue buff. It traded hands
Taco
a little bit,
has it.
but they ended up with the blue buff in the end with Taco having it. So Taco is on his way to finishing Gore Drinker. I think he's building Gore Drinker. It's either Gore Drinker or it's going to be, what is it called? Stride Breaker or whatever it's called. That's going to be the mythic item for the set. One of those two. Meanwhile, we see Renekton here still hasn't finished his mythic item either, so he's on his way to finishing his first item. Across the board here, we don't see any mythics being completed yet, but we do know that both Kai'Sa and Samira are awfully close to finishing theirs, which is where it should be because they have the most money in the game right now with their CS numbers.
I'm not sure if it's...
not the most money in the game, but their CS numbers would indicate.
There's another fight going down though. Kai'Sa does die to the Nautilus, and the Morgana follows soon after the Nautilus. Yeah, that's Nautilus in the early game in a nutshell for you.
That damage coming out of Samira there. Jeez. That's some scary stuff if you're caught in that. Very good work, though, by Harmony getting that fight and making sure to get Samira and Nautilus some action, some kills.
Lee Sin got caught out here as well. He kicks away, but Yona's already in his ult. He could try. He gets the knock-up and decides to disengage before much else can be done about it. Okay, body slam misses. Keg misses. That looks like it was the keg to go in, and there's nothing you can do about that. The Bash Bros show up and finish the mid lane.
That was an incredibly good pairing there of the ultimates. Very well done by Harmony. The Gragas cask thrown to knock Vel'Koz into the Yone ultimate. Very well coordinated. I hope that was coordinated at least, and that it wasn't just an accident. I hope that was actually planned out in advance.
Coordinated to me, but I'm blind, so.
We see Mythics completed in the bot lane. I know we just talked about that recently, but we see Kai'Sa with the Kraken Slayer, as is typical for the Kai'Sa build, and Samira has the Shield Bow, which is pretty typical for Samira. So neither one of them went out of the norm in that regard. And it looks like Infernal's going to take this Rift Herald. Yep, they will not be contested. They'll be able to finish it off.
Yeah, no one was really in the area to even think about contesting that.
But interestingly, Taco picked it up, not the jungler, not Deathblind. So if it gets dropped soon, it'll be in top lane.
Most likely. Teleport does go down. It's actually getting dropped right now, so not sure if that was intentional or not, but I'm assuming they just want to get try to get some pressure down. Maybe
yeah, it's a little bit early of a drop, honestly.
Taco probably wants to use it to force a dive. No, they're just going to use it to force a fight. Superplex goes down, Taco flashes out. That Renekton is still regaining health, and probably going to get a kill on Elise in here. No. Flash forward, kicks out.
Oh.
Well timed on that one. Now, don't get Lee Syndrome and go back in on that one. You are going to die.
His mind's telling him no, but his body's telling him yes.
Yeah, this could be a tower dive, though. Renekton does have the health for it. He's going to go for it anyway. This is actually probably a neutral kill.
Yeah, that will maybe... No!
No, what was that? That was 59 hit points.
Yeah, the Renekton probably just decided it would be a 1-for-1 and just got pretty lucky to actually survive off the tail end of that. I thought he was dead for sure.
Ooh, good flash out of the way there. The cask does not hit. Now there's more people here. Yone decides to leave. Lee Sin shows up to remind Gragas that this is not his jungle. And there's a lot of damage going down.
Oh,
and
baby!
Gragas, good follow. Oh, Taco wants it.
He really
and
does.
That's a flash. Yeah, that was the fastest set I've seen in a while. Is he running Predator? No, he is not.
No, it's
That would buy
def.
comb
I
guards.
I forget the name of the rune, but it's the one that makes you move faster after you use a summoner spell.
Yep. He did also look like just used teleport, so he could have also had home guards buff going in at the same time. That probably explains why he was going turbo. Okay, Dragon was taken. That wasn't the Infernal. We're getting the Ocean Rift, so everyone's either
All right.
favorite or least favorite Rift.
But you know what? Imagine Infernal. They get the Infernal Dragon, their namesake. So hey, good job, guys.
Yeah.
Good job.
Your honor has been defended.
If you ever let an Infernal Drake go and the other team gets it, I will not let you forget about it.
Yeah, first turret here will go down though. In top lane, so it's not super threatening at this point in time. We're still a ways off from Baron spawning, so really all that is just freeing the Renekton to go where he pleases.
Yeah, so in the top lane here, we have Mythics completed as well. We see a Gore Drinker for Renekton. We see a Stride Breaker for Set. But we also see other Mythics completed on the side of Harmony, whereas there are no...
There's a fight going down bot lane, and yeah, Lee Sin went deep. He's probably going to pay for it, as Samira and Nautilus are... Well, we're doing some damage, but they do collapse.
Wow.
And between the damage a Kaisa and a Morgana can output, and a Lee Sin just doing Lee Sin things, that's a lot of hurt at this point in the game.
So the key to winning that fight was that most of Samira's damage from the ultimate didn't hit anybody. For most of the time the ultimate was active, nobody from Infernal was in range of it. So that's what allowed them to win that fight
here. And Gragas got pushed out again by a very, very upset Vel'Koz.
Yeah. So we are seeing more Mythics being completed. The only ones who don't have a completed Mythic now are the two supports, which is not... I mean, that's pretty easy to understand why that would be. They get the least amount of money out of anyone on the team. So yeah, things seem pretty standard so far for the Mythics. We do see Vel'Koz has a Leandries, perfectly understandable. Yone has a Shield Bow. Gragas has a Moonstone Renewer, which, I mean, I'm not a jungler. I don't know if that's the usual thing for him or not.
Yep, there's a 2 versus 1 here, and that is going to actually be a kill. So you go 1 for 1 in a 2v1. That is a good indicator of how powerful Renekton is at the moment, but also an indicator of kind of how powerful Lee Sin is, because most of that damage was Lee Sin.
Yeah, Lee Sin is definitely the one really, I guess, for lack of a better term, carrying the team at the moment. I would say that if not for Lee Sin making a lot of these plays work out for them, Infernal would be a lot worse off right now. They are only ahead by about 200 gold, so it's an extremely close game. Anybody could win this. Literally either team.
Yeah, that's about what we expected, though, was basically a coin flip, maybe slightly weighted in favor of Harmony.
Yeah.
And that's...
I'm looking forward to see some later team fights, just because if Infernal gets fights that they want, they should be able to win the fights, especially like once we hit like 25 minutes, 30 minutes, times like that. Whereas if Harmony can like get more picks off or catch a few people out on rotations, then they can definitely swing things heavily into their favor too. So the next 4 or 5 minutes of the game will probably wow, I can't talk today. They will probably determine everything.
Yeah, it looks like that definitely looks to be the case. But for now, no one's really in too much of a rush. There isn't any objectives to fight over. We do have the second Rift Herald spawning in about 10 seconds. So that is something that maybe...
Yeah.
It looks like Team Harmony is in the better position in terms of where their wave control is, but it looks like the majority of Imagine Infernal is actually on that side of the map. So they could try for that.
That's very true. Taco also like continues to take these disadvantageous trades with Renekton. Taco, at this point, you gotta respect him a little bit more than you are, buddy. You gotta hold off a little bit.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to help. You know, like, yes, you outscale Renekton technically, but you don't outscale Renekton until you actually outscale Renekton.
One thing I would like to point out, though, is that Kaisa does have quite the CS lead over Samira right now. And since Kaisa already scales better into the late game than Samira does, that's excellent news for Imagine Infernal if they're hoping for Kaisa to mostly deal the damage and carry the team at the end of the game. So good job there, keeping her safe enough and making sure that she can farm up. She already completed her second item with the Runan's Hurricane, whereas Samira has not completed hers, which I'm assuming is an Infinity Edge.
Yeah, I'm seeing an awful lot of swords, so I assume Infinity Edge. Okay, this is that bottom side advantage, though, coming in favor of Harmony, is they're going to try to pick up the Infernal Soul here. There will be a fight. My money is on, yeah, looks like Taco's going to go in, goes for the superplex. Ooh. That is a lot of damage that goes down. It's a massive stun. And the team fight is on, and Renekton's already down. The most of their big damage is out of the way, but Samira takes her due justice, and it's pretty well turned around here at this point. Infernal, they took a fight they probably shouldn't have. It's honestly, like, it's just an ocean break. You're not the soul yet. Good fight, good damage, but I don't think anyone was actually in range to really follow up the sheer aggression. Aggression doesn't even make up for that. I have to use an old word here, Elan. It's a French word that just means forward.
So they were a little too split up there when Taco decided to go in and engage that fight. That was the major problem. They were not in a great position to follow up with that initial engagement. Vel'Koz was, because he just hit everyone with his ultimate, but the rest of the team had to kind of force their positioning in order to get in on that fight. Kaisa took a little bit too much damage in the fight where she wasn't able to deal a lot of damage on the back end of it, and that's kind of where things went wrong for Imagine Infernal.
I didn't even think I saw do anything in that fight at all. I think she sort of just like stood there and got popped.
I'm not sure what I'm not sure what she was able to do. I was mostly watching what was happening with the set there in the middle of all five of them. But we have a 2,000 gold lead here in favor of Team Harmony now. They also have 2 dragons. They have 2 towers to the 1 tower. They're in great position now to start snowballing this lead, unless scaling starts kicking in for Infernal.
Yeah, which it is about to here fairly soon. I'd say sometime within the next 5 minutes, we might see Kaisa start building out to the next item. That is a lot of damage going down, though. That is so Ionia does kill Taco. Lee Sin does pick off Samira, so that's a lot of damage that's out of the way. Gragas is already knocked out of that fight as well. So the 1 versus 1 goes Harmony's way, but the 4 versus 4 on the top side is definitely currently going the way of Imagine Infernals here. Renekton forced to flash over. There's another kill goes down. Renekton dies. Yone kills Vel'Koz. He does have the health bar here, but that's a 3 versus 1. And your other 2 champions that could support you are basically on the other side of the map. They're not anywhere near that fight. So he's gonna back off.
So that's what happens, by the way, if Kaisa's able to actually deal damage throughout the entire fight. It doesn't get taken out halfway through. She's going to start carrying these fights for Imagine Infernal. And now the gold lead is almost non-existent for Team Harmony, as Infernal's able to catch up after those kills and taking out the mid lane tower. We're looking at a 600-500 gold difference.
Yeah, which is, at this point in the game, basically nothing.
Yeah.
So well played there to Imagine Infernals for actually taking that fight when they knew they had they had an advantage there.
Yeah, I think basically the rule of thumb at this point is that if you get a fight without Yone or without Renekton, you take that fight.
I'd say it's a pretty good rule of thumb to live by.
Yeah. The Gragas, it turns out, like, other than using his ultimate, has been mostly ineffective. We see, like, he doesn't have any kills. He only has 3 assists, so he's barely accounting for anything he's barely accounted for any of the kills that Harmony has gotten as a team. He's only helped out for 3 of those so far.
And kind of as pointing out to their previous building issues later for Team Harmony, the Gragas is currently forced to go majority magic damage and HP. He does not have very many resists on his champion right now. He's basically off going with natural scaling. So in terms of how long he actually lasts, well, in front of a Kaisa that is built to shred tanks already, you don't have if you don't have any kind of resist, you're gonna. It doesn't matter if you have 6,000 HP, you're gonna die very fast. So
Yeah.
it's lock her down, or at that point your team fight's almost lost.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So, moving in here, let's take a look at the state of the game, the state of the map. We see a lot of vision for Imagine Infernal in River by Baron. So we can assume that they would like to set up for Baron. They would like to get a kill on Harmony and then transition that to a Baron take, but it's been kind of difficult to make that actually happen. And now we see that they're kind of in the bot side river here, maybe looking to set up some vision for Dragon instead. We have Morgana, Kaisa, Vel'Koz there to try to just scout out for the opponents. And we kind of see that Harmony is also focusing on the bot side of the river as well. Both teams want to try to get this Dragon since it is up in 16 seconds now.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be the next big fight that we see here, is a contested Dragon.
Yep. Definitely, they're posturing for it now, really just killing control wards, but this, depending on where Taco is, this could actually turn into a fight. There's a lot of poke damage that does go down, and there is the Gragas' lack of resistance actually biting him as Vel'Koz gets a lot of poke off. And
Infernal has to make a decision, though. Infernal has to make a decision. Yeah, because for Team Harmony, Renekton is taking topside tower right now, so they have to do something.
They get it. They trade for turret. Gragas goes down. Renekton. So it's turret for Dragon and a kill. Taco is gonna get the free Nautilus as well. Nautilus isn't able to back out fast enough. So 2 kills and a Dragon. That does equalize Drake's, but at the cost of a turret. Taco is going to use his teleport as well, so
yeah, honestly, if I was Harmony, I'd still be okay with that trade. I'll trade a tower for a Dragon any day.
Yep, especially, I mean, it is topside, so it's not as advantageous as if they got a bot side or a mid turret in terms of putting pressure on Baron, but it does help them later putting pressure on Drake, especially when if Elder Drake becomes an option.
Looking at farm numbers again, Samira's kind of caught up in CS, but Kaisa still has an advantage because she's been involved in more kills. Hopefully she can escape from the Yone.
Yeah, she's not...
okay, she's
not
fine.
any real threat there.
Yeah, she's fine. All right. So, both teams are kind of... not both teams, sorry, I misspoke there. Infernal's getting to their power spikes, their mid and late game power spikes, whereas Team Harmony is kind of falling off a little bit. Renekton's not as strong as he was before. He can still deal out the damage, he can still be strong. It's just not nearly as effective as it was, 10 minutes ago. We see Gragas here still kind of in the same state. He's 0-5-3, hasn't been able to have much of a footprint in this game. Yone is still going to be a problem. He's the one who's going to be a problem up through late game. He's always going to be an issue to deal with. But Samira and Nautilus are finding it more difficult to be involved in these fights as well now. So it's starting to favor Imagine Infernal at this point.
So Renekton does basically get a free turret, by the way, while we're discussing game state.
Yep.
So
they've been doing a good job of split pushing.
Yeah, that could be a little bit of a lapse there on Infernal, but this is what they do. What they need to do. They can't really afford a stand-up fight at the moment, because if they lose a stand-up fight, they lose Baron. So at that point, I think that is a smart choice there. Split your Renekton out. It's really always good for now. His early game power is gone, but he can still kill towers really quickly.
Yeah. Morgana trying to deal a little bit of damage to Nautilus, but he barely feels any of it because of his shield. Renekton going one-on-one against Set here, and Set does feel a little better about it because he's getting more items. He's getting up there. He's got a Warmogs. I believe that's a Warmogs anyway, sorry. No, it's a Bramble Vest, sorry, misspoke. But that's leading to a Thornmail. And then he's also got a Blade of the Ruined King. So he can start standing up to Renekton. He can actually start taking him one-on-one at this point.
Yep. Certainly can, and it certainly looks like he wants to as he's cleared out these minions here. We could see a fight break out relatively soon for that, as the rest of their teams are topside. Yone is a little low. He is going to die. He got caught out. they're going to start Baron off that.
Yeah, they can absolutely start Baron off that. That is the right call to make.
So there is a Nautilus and a Gragas in range, but you're really hoping for the steal here. And it looks like Gragas is actually going to back off as Vel'Koz is basically pulling Patrol here. No, he goes in, teleports go down, but Kai'Sa gets the Baron. Gragas is down before he can even do anything due to the sheer amount of CC that happens. And nobody's dead, although Taco's probably close.
Very close. He has to back off. He'll be fine, though. He'll be able to get back and defend tower. Renekton's not going to be able to take it there with that.
Yeah, it looks like that what actually happened there is Taco used his ultimate to stop Renekton's teleport. Ooh. Good shutdown there from the dive.
Yeah, good kill on the back end there. Nice job, you two.
So,
Kai'Sa and Lee Sin pairing up, teaming up to take down the Samira.
I mean, hey, if you're going in, go in with a dive, buddy. Taco feeling himself here, decides against it. And now they're going to run this straight down the mid lane. Because there's absolutely nothing Harmony can do about that at the moment.
Yeah, so in terms of a Baron power play, if we had stats for that, like you see on the LCS, that's one hell of a Baron power play.
Ooh, good guess there from Taco to stop that back. And that keeps Renekton away from his team just a little bit longer.
So we're starting to see Imagine Infernal now that we've hit late mid game, going into late game. They're definitely scaling. They're all coming into their power spikes here. Vel'Koz has a Rabadon's death cap now, so his damage is off the charts at the moment. Things are looking up for Imagine Infernal. At this point of the game, I can't see them losing like I could at the beginning of the game. It's kind of all in their hands at the moment. They're in a position to take it all. I'm starting to favor them now because the later this game goes from this point on, the more in control they should be if they're playing right and they're not making mistakes.
Yeah, looks like it does look like that they're also the armor building has fully come online for most of the team as well, so that is going to help them survive those fights. And really, well, we have a slight disconnect here, but it looks like Harmony's only real hope now in terms of those team fights is really just making sure that Yone stays alive. Because Yone has very similar scaling to Yasuo. He has a similar, I think he has almost the same passive, right? With the with crit scaling. And Samira's pretty much it. So at that point, you know, I'd start transitioning the Gragas, Nautilus, and Renekton to more tanky builds. Just to try to keep your two remaining damage dealers left alive. You're already at a disadvantage from lack of AP.
Yeah. Pause resuming here. We're good to go. The DC was short-lived. Morgana's back in the game. One thing that I would like to see at this point, just because of how rough it's going to be with the Vel'Koz, like that ultimate can potentially wipe out Samira, Yone in one hit. Like before the ultimate's even done, it has the potential to kill both of them. I would like to see Samira start building either a Maw or
Yone got baited, by the way. He's going in right here, and he's going down. Ooh, that. I get what they're thinking there. He wanted to dive in and assassinate Kai'Sa, but I don't think he noticed the Lee Sin in the bush.
Probably not. So yeah, they can just siege here with Baron's up minions to take down this bot lane tower and mid lane tower. They don't have to dive at all. They can just sit back and be pretty comfortable here.
Yeah, and speaking of, 2 towers go down now.
And Set's also taken up top as well. So they've got all 3 lanes pushing into towers here. This is exactly what you want if you have Baron buff. It did just run out.
A little caught out, but that doesn't matter as his team's there to cover his spot. Ooh, that's the okay. The Guardian sits proc, and he's out. So would have been a kill, were not for Guardian Angel, and yeah. Taco is just slamming away at an inhib, so that's going to be 2 inhibs down for pretty much nothing else traded there. No deaths, but no Baron buff either. That's a lot of damage that goes down, but a good stop there on the Nautilus with the hook. A lot of damage happening to Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa is dead. This could actually be the fight they were looking for. But Samira goes down in the process as well. Yone, though, putting down a lot of damage. Nautilus is dead, but Morgana is traded for it. Renekton on the set here, and that's going to be a cask. Set, gonna have to flash, I think. Okay, does flash. Gets some points out. So you trade 3 for 2, but you've lost all of your inhibitors.
Yeah, so still overall in favor. That all of that was still overall in favor of Imagine Infernal. And coming up here in the next 1 minute and a half, Baron will be back. In the next 2 minutes, we will have Dragon, which could potentially be Ocean Soul for Imagine Infernal. So Harmony's going to have to pay attention to both of those objective timers, make sure they're set up to deal with Baron and Dragon here in the next 2 minutes.
Yep, as well as deal with waves of... Well, not quite double waves, so the bottom inhibitor did not go down. But they are going to have super minions pushing in 2 lanes at least. Both of which are on the opposite side of the dragon. So that Dragon Soul is a possibility. And knowing how much both sides want to fight, I suspect that to avoid the Dragon Soul, Harmony's going to have to try something there.
Yeah. So Lee Sin, it looks like he's going with his team near bot side. I guess they're prioritizing Dragon more so than Baron at this point, which granted it's Soul, so I can see why they would do that.
Yeah. Also, there's very little chance of Harmony actually trying for Baron, given that their current, the current state of their base is if they go for Baron, they lose. Ooh, that was almost a pick. So that could have been bad there.
Could have been a fight. I thought we were going to see a fight break out.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
The shield says otherwise, and now they... Imagine Infernal has just total vision control of this bottom side lane, so they definitely think the right play is go for Soul.
It definitely is for them at the moment, especially seeing that they have 2 waves of minions just crashing into their base. Even if they don't go for Dragon right away on its spawning and they just stall out Harmony here, that's still good for them because they have supers pushing into the Nexus towers right now.
Oh, they're not going to stop that because Taco can't sit still, and that's a lot of damage going down. Taco gets that kill, though. Vel'Koz gets the initial kill there with the ultimate, and then the final kill goes down to Lee Sin. So,
and that's basically a free dragon if they want the dragon, but they don't want the dragon. They want to go for the win.
Yeah, they have minions in base, so they could do this. Taco is...
The timers are long enough on these deaths. They could finish the game here.
Ooh, that's going to be close, but Nautilus does make it back into the tower. A couple of tower dives there. Probably getting a bit too aggressive. They're just going to focus on the turrets instead. And with the turret going down, they're going to try to focus the Nexus here. And that looks like that's going to be game.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 1 goes to Imagine Infernal. The game kind of froze for me on the replay here, so I didn't actually get to see a victory screen. So spectate bug is preventing me from actually seeing the victory screen, but Imagine Infernal definitely won that game. Congratulations to Imagine Infernal for game number 1 of the series. However, knowing how that series played out, I could easily see this going 1-1 between the 2 teams before tonight is done, because in the early game and the beginning of the mid game, it was definitely in favor of Team Harmony. And if we look at the damage charts, we can kind of see why Imagine Infernal was able to pull ahead in the end. They had 3 players on their team that dealt more damage to the other team. They had 3 players that had the top 3 damage dealers in the game on their side. So of course, you're probably going to win the game if those are your damage stats for your team.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, that's the case there. I think in terms of game 2, what I would change if I was Team Harmony is... realistically, I would probably look at maybe a top laner and a mid laner that can scale a little better, and maybe looking to improve your damage spread. Because I feel like that's kind of what happened there. Is their scaling got they got hard outscaled, and yes, Renekton and Ionia could carry that for a while against those weaker champions, but because both of them built the same damage type, and they were both fairly early in terms of power, by the time Ionia spiked his second time and was actually in and capable of killing, the game was pretty much lost for them, because Infernal had already built so many items and just hard outscaled them.
Yeah, I would also like to point out a big difference maker for Infernal was also the vision score for the players on the teams. I want to point this out because this is particularly worth noting. Morgana having 119 for her vision score versus the Nautilus only having 91. So that's comparing support and support. And right down the line, if we look at every single position for Infernal, every position on Infernal had a better vision score than every position comparison from Harmony. So top, jungle, mid, AD carry, and support all had a better vision score than their lane opponents did on the other team. And that definitely helped them secure those objectives, especially going later on into the game.
To make it really ridiculous, I mean, Morgana literally had 100 more points of vision score. She flame horizoned the Renekton in vision score. That's
So, yeah.
I get it. You're a top laner. You're not necessarily the most focused on vision, but that's a little insane.
Yeah, it's kind of
nuts. Your vision at this level of play be that low.
It's kind of nuts how good vision was for Infernal in that matchup. So that's definitely something that Harmony could improve going into the next game. Speaking of the next game, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get ready for that. The teams are going to be getting ready for that. So we're going to take a quick break so that we can get a drink and prepare ourselves for game 2. I suggest you do the same. We'll see you back here in about a couple of minutes. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the series here between Imagine Infernal and Team Harmony in the Ionia division. We just saw Imagine Infernal take game one for themselves, starting off the season strong with their first victory, but it's not over yet because we have game number two. The teams have swapped sides. We see Imagine Infernal on the red side and Harmony on the blue side, and they're about to get draft underway. Real quick though, Autumn, is there anything that you're hoping to see for adjustments that these two teams make going into this draft?
So from Imagine Infernal, the only real suggestion I could make for them is maybe look at drafting maybe look at replacing. Okay, not replacing. Maybe look at improving your early game just a little bit, because as we pointed out fairly extensively in the last game, that early game was the weakest point for them in the entire game, and the point at which if they had lost any harder in some of those fights, that is probably over for them. So they
Okay.
need to look at improving that. As far as Team Harmony, improve your damage spread, improve your late game capability if you expect those games to go long, and just from a gameplay standpoint, start placing more wards.
That's fair enough. They could definitely use better vision scores on that team based off of what we saw in game number one. But yeah, so we should be getting draft underway here any second. I do agree with you in terms of the early game being better for Infernal because they did have it kind of rough. Granted, some of that was mitigated because of their jungler Deathblind. He did such a good job on Lee Sin. He was still able to help them pick up a couple of kills here and there so that they didn't get too far behind early on. So major kudos to him for being able to do that for the team. But we see the first the first bans of the draft coming out here. Harmony bans Gnar and Morgana. They decided to take Morgana away from Infernal after game number one. Apparently, they thought it was a big enough problem. They needed to get it off of the playing field. But otherwise, draft is kind of going down exactly the same way it did last time, other than Infernal's banning Set instead of Ornn for their third ban.
Okay. It's probably
there's the
Team
Jhin.
Harmony more than anything else. Yeah, the Jhin comes out first with a priority pick. That's probably what Team Harmony was hoping didn't happen last game, and they get to pick it up instead here. The Morgana ban, I think the reason why they're banning it was because they figured that Morgana was basically making plays on the bot side impossible, and that definitely was the case in a couple instances. But looks like they're otherwise not too much changes here. The Jhin is the single biggest change so far. Although we'll see what Immortals does now that they can't pair they can't do like a Kai'Sa Morgana pairing.
Yeah, so Jhin being the top tier S tier AD carry right now in the meta, not surprised that either of these two teams picked him up. Infernal goes with Kai'Sa and Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz was mid last game, but Vel'Koz is still able to be flexed into a support role if they decide to do that. Granted, I wouldn't want to take him away from the mid laner at this point because he did such a good job with him. So we'll see what happens there, but they could decide to flex that depending on how the next few picks go. It's still on the table. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a completely different look out of the bot lane this game for Harmony. And as I say that, they lock in Nami for support. So yeah, it's a completely different feeling bot lane for them this time around. They're not going to want to go all in. They're going to keep a little bit of a distance here. They have the range on Jhin and Nami to keep their distance, play a little safer. So we'll see how that pans out for them.
And here's the other big pivot as well. Harmony, instead of going for the Gragas, which honestly didn't do too much outside of a few good ults last game, they're going deep here. That's it. That is a Sejuani. That is a tank that I have not seen in a while. She's an excellent long-range initiator, as well as a frontline. And looks like Immortals, they respawn, or Imagine Infernal, not Immortals. That'd be interesting, but no. They respawn with a Thresh.
Yeah.
So that's a good counter into Nami. Thresh can make Nami's life miserable if she mispositions. That's kind of what Thresh does to enchanters in general. The Fizz ban is still there, though, as well, as they transition to the second ban phase. Team Harmony, out the gate of their ban phase. He wasn't picked. Remove the Lee Sin. Smart play.
Yeah,
Get
Deathblind played Lee Sin
him.
so well that last game. I would take it off the table if I was them. I would absolutely make that same decision. Fizz being the same ban they already banned, and they still ban Ornn anyway from Infernal. So Infernal's bans are mostly the same.
They're banning Echo
Set-
here. I'm assuming
Set
it's
being
an
the
Echo
only
jungle
difference.
ban there, and that's a Kindred. So double AD, but it's two different kind of ranges there. Kindred's a little more risky in terms of carries, but
She is strong
potential
though.
Yeah, she has the potential to really turn around fights, as well as her late game damage can be devastating. So this is a lot of scaling now coming out of Imagine Infernal again.
Yep. I mean, scaling, if you feel like your team is good enough to make it to late game, scaling's always a good option for you. We're seeing
old Scissor Legs
ooh,
is back.
okay,
That's,
Camille locked in. Malphite hovered. I think the
That's-
Malphite's going to get locked in, though.
That's actually smart, though, because that's not only is that a
Ooh.
lot of...
Never mind.
No. Okay, they're toying with us. It is a hover still. Calm down. We're not seeing a Ziggs just yet.
Okay.
And nope,
all
we're
right.
seeing a Ziggs. So that's their wave clear and their magic damage. That is a definite hard shift away from their previous side. That's a Poppy.
That's a Poppy.
That is actually brilliant in terms of your top laner.
I
And
like
the reason
that pick.
why. Yeah, the reason why is, well, fairly obvious. It's twofold, right? It stops in the entirety of what Team Harmony wants to do initially with one champion.
Absolutely.
Because what I'm seeing here, these are both team fight compositions. This is very clearly obvious between the two of them, as both teams are now moving into the actual pick phase here. You have a front line between Sejuani and Camille, whom are going both of them. Their goal is simple, right? Get in there, get on Kai'Sa, and keep her from moving out. That's what Camille does. That's what Sejuani is easily able to enable. Nami's just there to protect Jhin, really. Maybe he's provide some support with the wave, but really there to protect Jhin and get Jin's attack speed up, probably through Ardent and a bunch of heals. And Jin's just going to sit there next to the Ziggs, just happily popping away. That's what they want to do.
Yeah, that's their goal. I mean, Infernal does have some interesting pieces though in their team comp. Poppy, for instance, is a great counter into Camille. It's really hard for Camille to engage on Poppy in a 1v1 up there. So excellent pick. I think that's really well done. Kindred is going to be an interesting piece of this game though. If Kindred can get multiple stacks on her passive early, then she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But if Harmony can stop her from doing that, she's not going to be that good going into mid game or late game. So it's kind of up in the air on how good Kindred's going to be as a pick. Based on the play we saw out of Deathblind last game, I have to think that he's good on Kindred. Otherwise, he wouldn't have picked it. So I know he's probably good on the champion. It's just a question of if Harmony's going to let him get those stacks. Bot and mid lane for Infernal is still going to be about as good as we saw last game. I don't think their level of play is going to differ all that much. But I do think it's going to be a little bit harder of a challenge for Infernal this game just because of the Jhin and the Ziggs being able to just throw so much damage into a team fight from a safe backline position.
The only thing that really changes about both these bot lanes is they went from basically ungankable to you want to gank both of these lanes, both for and against. You want to get Jhin ahead by providing that support, and Nami and Jhin do have excellent gank support. And between a Kindred and a Thresh, well, Thresh pretty much provides his own initiation anyway. So one hook with a Kindred nearby, and you could very well see a dead fish or a dead serial killer, and at that point, it can spiral out of control if Kai'Sa gets ahead.
Yeah. Late game, it's much closer for both of these teams. Both of these teams have about the same amount of scaling between them. So we should see a more even matchup going into the mid game, going into the late game, unless one of them snowballs early, of course. Just looking at the two team comps, do you have your pick for which one you think is going to take game number 2 from the start here?
Okay, looking specifically just at comps, based off of play and how I know they could run it, I favor Immortals. But off the comp alone,
Infernal?
Infernal. Gonna keep making that mistake for the next 5 weeks, I swear.
Probably, yeah.
I favor Harmony's comp. And the reason why is because if you look at it, they are better set up to actually start their fights on their own, as well as, in this case, capitalize on it. Because yeah, Jin doesn't take towers very fast. So what's the best way to to take advantage of a champion who can't take towers quickly or really mitigate that to mitigate that? Throw Ziggs. A tower execute on a champion that already shreds towers because of magic damage, alongside a champion like Camille, who is a dedicated split pusher as well as diver, and you win a fight as Team Harmony, you can really, really capitalize on it.
Yeah, I think the trend we're seeing from Harmony based on the two games here is that their top laner Koite likes to play split push champions. He likes to do that for the team, and the team generally picks comps that help facilitate that play out of him. He was able to do that with Renekton in game number 1, took tower and bot lane and top lane all by himself, just split pushing away to his heart's content. So maybe we'll see the same style out of them this game. I would imagine so, with the Camille being picked. So I'm kind of with you in favoring the team comp that Harmony has. However, I bet against him more. I bet against Infernal last game when I said beforehand that I thought that Harmony would probably take game 1 55% to 45% for my estimation. So I think I'm going to back Infernal for this game because I don't want them to prove me wrong 2 games in a row.
Yeah, I based on game, I have to agree. The team composition that Infernal has, Imagine Infernal has now, is fundamentally not that different from the team composition they had last game. The only you have 2 split pushing champions again. In this case, it's really like you can do the split push with the Kindred and the Poppy, so you can match whatever it is Harmony can do. You have your 2 team fight champions. Your damage is literally the same last game in terms of your damage core.
Mhm.
They're doing the same thing. They pretty much just changed out the Poppy in terms of effectively what they want. So this, for them, they're comfortable with this. They have a composition that they've done before. We know they can execute the playstyle. I favor that over. Yes, you have a better designed comp on paper, but anybody who's ever played a game of League knows it doesn't matter if your champion's ass ranked. If you can't play the comp or the champion, then you're not going to win. And we have seen that Team Harmony does have some execution problems.
I mean, I'm hoping that they kind of do better the second game. They kind of fix those little issues they had in game number 1, because I want to see this being a slugfest to the very end. But yeah, so we're about 10 seconds on spectator delay. As soon as we hit 0, we're going to shut up for a little bit because we want the cool casual EAL logo to flash on the screen for you guys. But we will see you on the Rift here in just a few seconds. All right. So we're finishing up on the loading screen here, everyone. Looking at some cool skins we're going to see this game. We got KDA All Out Kaisa Prestige Edition for Hot, rather than the skin he used last game. Very nice, very flashy. I love the KDA skins for every champion that has one.
Spirit Blossom Kindred is an interesting one as well. And hey, here's the PTS boys. Lollipoppy's back.
Yeah, Lollipoppy. Although her skin art screen is not complete nightmare fuel this time around. So yeah, we're loading up onto the Rift, everybody. Let's get some timestamps here, just so that we know that we're all synced up. I'm 13, 14, 15.
Yep, I'm
Okay.
with you. So looks like we're already. Looks like we're going out to a traditional 5-point here from both teams. So we're not going to be seeing.
Autumn, 1 second here. You're starting to sound a little bit like a robot. I don't know if your connection's starting to have some issues or not.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Yeah, Discord is
It might.
here, so.
Okay. Just Discord, I guess. Okay. All right.
And how does that?
So both teams, it looks like, are just kind of lining up. They're just doing a sort of a 5-point spread here.
Bit of 5-point, bit of poke there between Sejuani. Sejuani looks like she's currently favoring topside, although she's going to back here. Probably going to want to start on that red. So
Nami, Nami acting like a fool down there. All right, so it's not exciting of a start to the game as last time around because of the invade we saw from Team Harmony. I think that's fine though. I think after game number 1, they're gonna play it slightly safer here in the beginning. They want Jin and Ziggs to be able to scale up as much as possible, so they want to try to avoid getting in unnecessary fights. And the same should also hold true of Infernal at this point.
it should. It does look like so. Kindred here though is absolutely going to be tearing through the jungle. There's a champion that she can farm very quickly. That is not something that has not changed throughout the years.
Yeah, her clear speed is insane. And Koite getting quite an advantageous trade out of top here against Poppy.
Yeah, that is one of the downsides of playing Poppy, is you do pretty much sack lane control as you go on here. And that's mostly due to the fact that Poppy does not trade very well. At least, during her first 3-4 levels.
Yep, and as soon as Camille gets her passive back up, she just gets a shield the second Poppy hits her.
Yeah, now Poppy can dictate what type of shield that is going to be by either giving an auto attack off or her ability, so she can play around that a little bit, but probably not the best thing here. A little bit of trade going here.
Yeah. Going off of last game, I would expect Taco to probably die a couple times in lane again this time around because he played last game hyper aggressive.
That's good block, and that might actually be a kill. Nope, they both burn potions, and it goes very close. There's an engagement happening in mid game that's going to force the Vel'Koz out, but the Kindred's here to throw him back some damage. She is going to eat a lot of punishment for it, but no kills result. So already some aggressive posturing around mid and top lane.
Yep, and already Poppy's recall. Well, she was going to recall.
No, she's going to stay instead. And Hot, by the way, is getting that push advantage down in bot lane on this Jhin. So that is one of the weaknesses of Jhin. He does technically push waves slower. That's not a really smart place to be there, Taco. Camille, if she gets a jump on you, is not something you want to go against. Yep, there it goes. Spots the gank out, or smells it out, really, because there was no vision there to really warn him.
Yeah, I'm watching bot lane a little bit here just because I'm interested to see how this goes, because Harmony was doing a good job of freezing the wave here, but it looks like it's just going to continue to be frozen for a while because Kai'Sa and Thresher's starting to not play as aggressive. They still have a 9 CS lead, but it looks like they're just going to try to freeze the wave in the middle as much as possible. Both teams are.
Yeah, I think that freeze, based on the CS lead, that freeze does favor the Kai'Sa a little bit. Just because she's got... Ooh, that was a very close thing.
Such a close hook.
Some pokes go down, Zig stands behind minions, and nothing much happens of it in mid. Kindred,
mid lane's just dead even, so...
Kindred getting a little adventurous here. Ooh, that's she's got the ward down. Based on positioning, I think probably could have gone for it, but nah, she's gonna back off. She knows where Sejuani is, though. That is vital information.
Yep, exactly. They can still track where Sejuani is. So know that Sejuani is probably on Wolves right now, if not Gromp, because they saw nothing by the blue buff area there.
Taco gets a good block off again there. Koite not quite able to connect, but I think the hookshot wall dive's cooldown is a little, or is similar to Shield, so we'll see.
Yeah, I don't quite know what the cooldown numbers are.
It's a lot faster, actually, as Koichi goes in, and Taco's probably going to die here. No, he runs away. That Kindred comes out with the
Ooh.
flash. That was a good bait. His first blood goes down in favor of
Ooh.
the Kindred.
Nice work there by Imagine Infernal. Camille turns on her 3D maneuver gear like she's going after a Titan, but gets surprised by Deathblind coming in with Kindred and preventing her from getting a kill on Poppy. Nice teamwork there by Imagine Infernal. Good play by Deathblind, who's proving to be a pretty good jungler, not gonna lie.
Definitely worth consideration for one of the stronger junglers, at least at this point, as we've seen. And Koichi's going in there, so first dive didn't quite go as well as planned for top lane. Camille still has an absolutely insane CS lead. So there is still that. You still Camille into a Poppy. Poppy will sack lane and kind of suffer for it. But going down early, giving a kill to a Kindred is never a good thing. And the only thing that you can be thankful here as Camille is the kill didn't go to the Poppy. The kill goes to the Poppy, that's a lot worse for you.
Yeah. So I'm just checking, though, Kindred's passive. Yes, she got a kill, but the kill did not give her a stack of her passive because she didn't have Camille marked yet.
Ooh, so they got off really lucky there then.
Yeah, so they got lucky. That could have given her a mark on her passive. As it stands right now, Kindred is having a kind of a hard time getting a stack on her passive because of where her marks are showing up in the jungle camps. So hopefully that gets a little bit better for her.
A bit of engagement going here. That could be a quick stun. No. Vel'Koz is able to walk away.
Lots of damage, though.
Yeah, that's not going to push him quite back. But it's going to... that turns around, and Ziggs almost dies. But Vel'Koz flash is forced out. So good return gank there on Sejuani to save your mid laner. Stop worst case scenario happening there.
I like that play by Taco there just now. He puts the shield on early and then sees Camille just sitting there. So he decides that he's going to take the initiative and go in. And the trade is in his favor because of it.
Yeah, that's one disadvantage of the hookshot wall dive is you do put yourself on the wall, which is exactly where Poppy wants you to be in the first place.
So Taco with the Bramble Vest might actually be able to start turning these fights around up here.
Yeah, Camille definitely has a harder time. One of her abilities is just an auto attack enhancement, so she takes damage for that.
Yeah, if I was Koite, I would start playing a little safer now because that Bramble Vest is enough to help Poppy out so much here in the early parts of the game.
Yeah. Poppy's decent damage on her Q is doing well here.
Oh, Sejuani coming in for a surprise.
Oh, this is a bait. Yeah, this is a bait. That's the... Okay,
smart move.
Out, but...
Smart move.
Okay.
Yeah, Taco's going to be able to get out just fine. The cooldown for Sejuani's ultimate was down. It's still on cooldown. So Taco was able to get away basically safely as soon as he ulted Koite away.
Yep, some fights going in here. Trading right back. That's a lot of minion damage going on. Camille, not going to be enough to be lethal just yet, but this is not the place you want to be. That time, though, there is a mark on Kindred, but she's on the other side of the map, so...
Yeah, but then again, you can use that mark to play mental games, and we can see Camille is backing off quite a bit now, so the mental game is working based on that mark.
And while they're doing that, they saw the Sejuani top. Oh, that is a big dive. This will be a mutual kill from the looks of it.
Nope.
No, Koichi with the outplay.
He had the passive shield pop up, which saved him. If not for that passive shield, probably would have been a 1-for-1 trade right there.
Yep, that is a kill for Dragon, though. So that is something important there.
Yep, definitely. Very good work there by that Camille. The patience that she showed.
Going down. Ziggs so close there, saved by his own satchel charge. He's got to back off now.
Yep. The patience that Camille showed there, though, under tower was so good, though. Having the brains to back off and knowing that Taco likes to play hyper-aggressive, she just used that to her advantage there. Very nice work. Across the map here, you know, Vel'Koz almost gets a kill for Infernal in the mid lane. Ziggs barely survives. So this game is still so close. 1 kill apiece. Only 1 dragon has died. Yes, it's roughly an 800, 900 gold lead in favor of Infernal. But at this early stage of the game, that gold lead doesn't really mean much because nobody's really backing to spend any of that money.
Yep, speaking of backing, one early back has come in here, and Kindred out with the Berserker's Greaves and the pickaxe, as well as the Agility Cloak for her first buy, so pretty standard AD carry things there. The wall bang is missed from Poppy,
Ooh.
and she gets caught up in that Sejuani stun. She's probably going to die here. Yeah, she does. Now it's time for Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz will trade out, but here comes the Kindred to respond in kind. Oh, that's... Yeah.
Oh,
Vel'Koz close to it, doesn't quite do it. So you trade 1 for 2. Yes, you get the Poppy, but you lose your Camille and you lose your Sejuani, and you feed the Kindred. That's a lot of damage that is going down there. Thresh not in a good place. Kai'Sa forced to back away, doesn't want to deal with the Jhin.
yeah, that was a little bit of a risky move by Thresh getting pincered like that. Kai'Sa thankfully distracts the Jhin enough that Thresh doesn't pay for it too badly. But it's still in favor of Team Harmony down there in the bot lane looking at those health bars. However, once they're able to back and buy more items, Kai'Sa's definitely going to have the advantage with the gold lead she has.
Yeah, 27 CS is massive, and that's a bit of a pincer going down. Well, in mid, and nothing really comes of it. Minions just get pushed up.
Yeah, let's see how many marks on Kindred's passive are happening right now. As of right now, she has 2 stacks on that passive. So it's getting there. She's working up. You know, it's okay.
Yeah. I think the goal is what, like at least 3 by 5 minutes. That.
Yeah, you need at least 3 by like the 15-minute mark if you
15-minute
want to be
mark.
on track.
So 2 more minutes here. This is going to likely be a tower dive. Well, actually, no. Taco's in the top lane, so no tower dive for them today. And again, the Ziggs just gets out with a sliver of HP. Taco going in for the aggressive trade. Koiti is losing real hard there due to the Bramble Vest.
The Bramble Vest plus the Bomby Cinder, so she's
Yep.
just taking a lot of passive damage the longer those fights go.
Which, that fight was a solid 10-15 seconds, so... Ooh, this could be dead here if Taco feels like it.
I think Taco is still playing a little too aggressive, though. And yep, there is Sejuani.
Here, speaking of too aggressive, here you go. So, you're gonna try to bait that out. Goes in, going to try to kill instead. Now it's a matter of can you avoid a Sejuani? Well, yes you can, but
Yeah, don't take tower shots though, Poppy. Be careful.
this is okay. Does get the stun, goes for the ult. This is gonna be a double kill, a very delayed double kill there.
All right. Taco
Poppy
showing
is,
that he is a good Poppy player, that you should not underestimate him based off of his laning phase in game number 1.
Yep, that definitely affects it there. And thing to note on that one, yeah, that's a thing to remember there for Sejuani is your Camille is already dead. You're a Sejuani, you don't have damage. That Poppy has 2 items that are just gonna make her kill you faster the longer you stand there. Ziggs just pops Vel'Koz, who tried to YOLO burn an ult there and died.
Yep, Ziggs made the aggressive play there, paid off for him. So mid lane, 1-1-1 on the Vel'Koz, 1-0-0 for the Ziggs. Gold between the two of them is roughly even, is about a 200 gold difference. So it's still very close between those two players right now.
Not much to write home about, but that turret is getting to within execute range.
Absolutely. First tower gold, bonus gold is very nice to get in your pocket, and Ziggs gets it for his team.
Mm-hmm. It was a Rift Herald, by the way, marching down bot lane here, causing a nice bit of distraction. Nothing really much comes of it, though, so, kind of a waste. But they do get a dragon.
Taco, boy.
So
Look at this hyperactive guy.
yeah, now he is going to go down for it, but it is a 1-for-1 and a 1 for dragon.
Yeah, he smartly at that moment decides to run into the blue side tower because he doesn't want Ziggs to get part of the assist money.
So here comes a gank as well, because Kindred is here to say hello. Nami can't escape, gets killed. Jin can't escape, gets killed. Kaisa picks up the Nami. Vel'Koz picks up the Jin. Excellent collapse there in response to the bunching on top side, really. And now there's 4 of them down there. That could easily be a turret go down if... No, they don't. No, they're not
Yeah.
gonna...
I'm almost surprised that Kindred's not helping them take that tower, but I don't know. They're probably going to get it anyway. I just feel like they should have gotten it faster than that so that they could keep the lane pushing.
That is a slight tempo disadvantage as well. Ooh, Camille almost got that stun, and that's a lot of damage that went down to Vel'Koz. And here comes the ultimate to push them back. Oh, Kindred's caught out. This could need to be an ult here soon. Ooh, nice flash away to avoid the stun.
Oh!
Does get the Camille. The ult comes down to save Kindred's life. The heal comes out. She's still very low. Poppy goes in, gets the wall stun. Jin goes down.
It looked like that fight was going to go completely the way of Harmony. You know, they were just pounding them with so much damage. But then reinforcements arrive for Kindred, and they're able to take that fight for their own and get a tower on the tail end of it. I mean, that's insane.
Seems like imagine Infernal is I mean, they're playing their game now. They're playing what they want to do with those fights.
Yeah, they're definitely showing a lot of really great teamwork here. I mean, they've definitely been practicing together quite a bit in order to pull out some of these plays that they're doing. But they have every advantage now. They have a 4,000, 5,000 gold lead. Going into the 18-minute mark of the game here, this is not at all close like the previous game was. And we already pointed out how they typically like to play late-game team comps anyway.
Now, speaking of it not being close here, I have to ask. You're 18 minutes in, 8,000 gold lead. Your top laner is getting bodied by a Yordle with a hammer. Or really with a giant lollipop. Is this what Tilt is made of? As they go in for another fight.
So,
and they trade 1 for 1 so far. They're going to trade here 2 for 1. Yeah. As Sejuani goes down in that fight, and there's really no reason to be hanging around there for that long.
Not really, no. So here's what you do when you play from behind. I say this about every time I'm one of the casters, so if I've said it once, I'll say it 100 more times if I have to. When you are behind, you want to trade as evenly as you possibly can. You don't want to take any disadvantageous trades, but if you can trade 1 for 1 on kills, that helps you out more than it helps the team out that's ahead, because when you're behind, you can get shutdown gold. So trade as evenly as you possibly can in kills. Don't take stupid fights. You have to play smart. Go for those even trades.
Harmony here trying to defend their top lane turret. Mostly, I think they're just trying to funnel gold into Jin.
Yeah, so...
Kindred, considering that... Ooh, Kindred takes a lot of damage and immediately gets disintegrated.
Yeah, Kindred, Deathblind, we get it. You're a good jungler. But that was a little bit too confident of a play and positioning you had just now. Looking, I want to check the Kindred stats again, the stacks again on Kindred to make sure where we're at on that. Give me 1 second here. If I can get that. Oh, because she's dead, it actually won't let me bring up her stats. That's interesting. Okay, I'll check back again in a few seconds.
GG spectator client.
3. She has 3 stacks. 3.
So she is behind.
Yep. Okay, so she's behind the curve. She could easily still catch up, though.
I'd say behind the curve on the stacks, ahead the curve over on items, though, a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, the Gale Force coming in on Jin there. I love Gale Force on Jin. It feels really good. It's really fun. So yeah, what they need to start doing here is Harmony needs to start playing a little bit more a little bit more safe. They need to make a lot more calculated, less risky plays. And at the same time, if Infernal doesn't push their advantages, and if Infernal gets too comfortable with where they're at, then they'll just slowly let Harmony back into the game. So both teams have to play a different style of game at this point. Infernal has to start being more aggressive than they've already been to keep pushing their lead and keep snowballing. Harmony has to take a little bit of a step back.
That's definitely the case there. A note, the Rift is now the Mountain Rift. This benefits Infernal, I almost said Immortals again, to an extent. It benefits them in that it limits the number of approaches that Harmony has. It also...
Poppy is such a jerk. She takes the Grob from Sejuani there.
Yeah.
You
that
jerk.
Is disgusting there. It actually also really benefits specifically Taco here. Poppy loves Mountain Rift. Not just because of all
Mountain Dragon. Oh
yeah,
no,
well,
sorry. You do
no.
You do mean the State of the Rift with all the extra walls that go up.
Oh yeah,
okay.
no. Poppy, not only that, but not only because of the wall stun, but because her ultimate in a rift where there are more walls is even more beneficial for her team. Because that is more obstacles between her and the opponent that she just knocked away, which further delays the re-engage. Which means you can get additional separation and isolation. So in a team fight, a good knock-up from Poppy is even more valuable in this state of Rift.
That's a fair point. Very fair point. Also a completely different pace from last game as well, because the only dragons in the game have been taken by Infernal. They're one dragon away from Soul. So, yeah, it's even more desperate for Harmony at this point in game number 2. They have to hope that they can turn things around, but they're going to have to do it soon. The next engage, the next struggle.
Taco going in, Kaisa following up. This is a bit of a fight coming here. That is a Thresh going deep as well. They are actually tower diving without minion waves. The fight, however, looks like it's going to turn around now as the box is forced. Kindred goes onto Jin. He's forced to flash away. So Harmony gets a quick pick and disengages. Ooh, but Deathblind might need to pop ult here. He does. Flashes may need to be burned here. Now Kindred goes over the wall. Kindred does go down to the Camille, who follows very quickly after. Camille can get out, but is going to get killed in the back end by the Vel'Koz, and there's just a melee going on off to the side here as Kaisa has a double kill. She's going to follow there. Poppy slams Nami into her own barrier there and gets the kill. So it was just going to be a quick pick and go. Harmony re-engages and pays the price for it.
Yeah, Hot is turning out to be a hell of an AD carry to watch out for. 5-0-3 on the Kaisa, whereas Jin is 0-2-1. Jin has not been able to get anything going in his favor this game, and unfortunately, you need to get Jin some kills here at this point. If Jin stays this far behind, he's not going to have any damage to throw down on the other team in any engage they make.
Ziggs went for the steal, did not get the steal, did almost kill someone, but unfortunately for him, the someone he hit was the Poppy, who cares little for your giant magic bomb.
I would like to just take a quick look at the state of the game here. Dragon is up in less than a minute and a half, which is definitely where we're going to see the next big fight break out between these two teams. If I was Team Harmony, I would make this Dragon fight my last stand. This is the last option for you to get your to get more than your toe back through the door. To victory here. You have to stop them from getting Dragon Soul, because once they get Mountain Soul on Poppy and Thresh, it's such a difficult front line that you're going to have to deal with at that point.
Mm-hmm. And not even just on the Poppy and Thresh. That's already bad. That's already terrifying. But you're giving a diving assassin AD like Kaisa an extra shield. So Kaisa loves it. Vel'Koz appreciates it. Nobody on this team dislikes Mountain Drake for them, because it helps them fight the way they want to right now.
Seeing a little bit of a contest here on some vision.
Oh, that's a pick though. That is not good. Jin is forced out of the fight very early. Thresh is taking damage. He's going to die for his team as he's forcing them away. Jin opens up though. The ult goes wide from the Sejuani. There's a lot of damage going down. Vel'Koz is currently at risk. He does get picked off, and he is going to go down instead. However, in turn for that, Taco's been split pushing. Kaisa's doing damage in the backline. Sejuani is removed from the game. So you go 2 for 1, but you gain a turret. HP pools are not great at the moment in favor for Harmony. But with Taco there pushing down with the Baron, they can't afford to ignore him for long, and they're not. Camille's going to try to fight him, but Camille's just going to start taking damage. That's a tower shot that went on the Taco.
Yeah, it was good for Harmony there. They got 2 kills, only one of them died.
Yeah,
but
they are fighting over the Drake here. Just a moment. Kaisa tries to burst. She does burst it. The Dragon Soul goes in.
All right, Dragon Soul for Infernal. So yeah, as I was saying, it was looking good for Harmony there until Taco got that tower. So if Taco had not been split pushing, if he had not gotten that tower, that the end result of that last fight would have definitely been in favor of Harmony, would have been a way for them to start getting back into the game. But as it stands now, they lost a tower. They still lost Dragon anyway, so they're still in a very rough position.
And just to add insult to injury, by the way, they lost a blue buff while they're doing that. Taco being mean. Yep, mid tower going to go down here as well. That's the last of the Baron buff. So not the greatest power play, except for the fact that they are now down to their inhib line in 2 lanes, and 1 kind of half dead bot lane turret.
Yeah. If I was on Infernal right now, I would just be grouping in a lane to push. You have such a huge advantage right now in your items, in your damage on your team. I mean, look at how much damage Kaisa's throwing down every single fight. I would just group as 5, push down mid lane, and just win the game. I would end the game right here. I would force it. You have the luxury of forcing it at the moment because of how far ahead you are.
Mark of the Kindred still has 3 stacks, so we've not seen the Fabled 4th stack yet. So that's just another thing that's kind of like slowly helping Harmony here. But yeah, here we go. Taco going in for the split push. Just going to put some damage down onto that tower. 2 people come to respond, and 3 people actually come to respond here. So they're not... Yeah, I mean, it's going to take that many people just to get damage down on this thing, so...
Yeah, Taco's showing off the fancy footwork and dodging a few attacks and abilities there.
I actually think he ended that engagement with more health than he started. And that literally just takes the shield. Ooh. Okay, now he's going in for a bit of a dive, but yep.
Yeah.
It's a Poppy. What are you going to do about it?
It's what Poppy does. You know, Taco's showing that he really knows this champion, and he can play her really, really well.
Taco just took 4 consecutive tower shots.
Okay.
And
that's a good ultimate use by the Jhin there, just forcing them off of the tower, keeping it alive a little bit longer. But it looks like Infernal's not going to let them get that down. They're going to keep pushing anyway. And they should be able to get tower sometime in the next 30 seconds to a minute here. They should just be able to get it.
Yeah. It looks like they're actually backing. They may want to try forcing Baron here soon.
I don't know why they're backing. I would stay there.
44 seconds to Baron. That's, I think, their logic.
Yeah, just go back and buy some items so that you're a little bit stronger for Baron. Doing the LCS strat of even if you're not buying the next item you want, buying any item still gets you like in a better position for Baron anyway.
Although they solid 10, the gold lead is up to 10,000 now. So I mean, yeah, we're about 30 minutes in.
It's a huge lead.
That 10,000 gold is probably more like a 5,000 gold lead, but it's still a gold lead, and they're still an item up. So
yeah, it's quite an advantage that they have here. Infernal. I keep wanting to say Immortal. They are definitely getting set up for Baron here. They're going to be warding up in just a second. They're going to be checking for wards that Harmony has placed, but based on the difference in vision scores, it looks like they're going to be just fine with setting up vision. Granted, Harmony is doing better this game with vision score than they did last game, but it's still a little bit still kind of the same as last game in terms of the support difference in vision score. If you just look at Thresh and Nami alone, And then Kaisa has a lot more than Jin. It's a little bit even in the mid lane. Luckily, Sejuani is actually doing really well for Harmony this game with the vision score.
That's going to be a pick that comes down here, though. Yeah, Camille got removed from existence.
Oh
Teleport
my God.
commit. This is not a smart commit here. As the Jin ult basically goes wide. He's out of this fight for the next several seconds. Poppy gets a turret in the bot lane. The Kindred ult comes down to stop anyone in that team from dying. Now they can just simply back away and do as they please. And they remove the jungler and the top laner.
And
So
Poppy
now-
is pushing for an inhibitor tower too, by the way, down in bot lane.
Yep, they're actually going to heal up here, so they're going to 3-man the Baron and simultaneously push 2 lanes.
They have the damage to just go for Baron with the 3 of them. Oh, this thing's melting. Look at that. Look at that health bar just die.
Yep.
And this
And
will
that is going to be a Baron
this will
buff
help
going down
facilitate
for-
Poppy to continue to split push, by the way, because she just has to stay there and keep buffing up these minions with the Baron buff. She can split push to her heart's content down here if she wants to. However, she is choosing to recall. She is choosing to buy another item. She buys... Are you kidding me, Poppy? You're buying a Muramana and a Thornmail right now. The Muramana is very interesting. I guess she feels like she wants to deal a little bit more damage in fights. But the
I mean,
Thornmail
okay.
is definitely welcome because they're all of the big threats
He
on
went Frozen
Harmony or
Fist,
AD.
Black Cleaver. This is Taco we're talking about. There's only one direction this Poppy's going. All right, Elder is up. Harmony wants to try to fight this. This is for them. This is a desperate fight for them.
Yeah, they have to be desperate at this point. They have to try to make a big desperate move like this.
It's that same situation. It's just like in Smash. You're up 135%. You're gonna get one hit's enough to kill you. You may as well go for it now. They do go for the engage. A little bit of a fight goes down as Koji gets killed by Taco in the bot lane. So
Seemingly
3
took
members
no
died.
damage.
Yeah. That's a lot of damage coming out of the Kaisa, and Taco's just gonna walk through the turret. He is actually taking negative turret damage as the client seems to be freezing on my end.
Client froze for me as well. Kind of hard to tell what's going on at the moment. I'll see if I can fast forward through this a little bit. Nope, my fast forward is disabled. Okay, looks like we're not going to be able to keep going. I'm assuming that the reason that would be is because one of the teams surrendered, because I don't know what else would make the spectate client freeze like this. That's probably what happened. But I am getting confirmation that Infernal did win this game. It looked like it was about to end anyway in the next couple of minutes. So congratulations to Imagine Infernal, for starting their season off at 2-0. And it's not over yet for Team Harmony. We still have a whole season left to go. And based on what we saw today from Team Harmony, they can easily pick up wins elsewhere. Because game 1 was a pretty close game throughout the whole game up until like the very end of it.
Certainly was. Definitely 2 very good teams here. I'm going to be honest, in terms of why this game went the way it was, I think it boils down to just a little bit of confidence loss, I think, after that first game. Harmony wasn't anywhere near as aggressive in game 2. They weren't.
Yeah. I
They
mean, just
weren't
looking at the
anywhere near
damage
as-
charts.
Let's just casually look past the fact that Taco with a Poppy built Black Cleaver, Muramana, and did,
Yeah.
20,000 plus damage.
Yeah, so the problem here, the reason why Poppy did that much damage is because she built that Bramble Vest and that Bomby Cinder early on in the game. which just let her deal so much passive damage to Camille because they were constantly skirmishing, constantly getting up in each other's face up there. So she was already piling up the damage numbers early on anyway. The longer the game goes on and the more skirmishes, the more fights that Poppy gets involved in, the higher those damage numbers are going to be. And as we saw at the very end of that game, she was able to take Camille from 100 to 0, basically without losing much health, if any at all. So very good game by Taco Taco. Very good work there on the Poppy. Basically fully redeemed himself after game number 1 and dying multiple times in lane to Renekton. But we see good things as well from the rest of Infernal here. Kaisa dealing damage, second biggest damage dealer on the team, third most
Kaisa
damage
didn't
dealt in
even
the
die
entire
once during
game.
that fight or that
And
game at all. Actually.
yeah, and Kaisa playing so well that she doesn't even die throughout the course of the game. Had 14 has a 14 kill participation out of 23 kills on the team. So that's very good percentage wise for Kaisa. Kaisa was a big player for the team here in this game. Let's go look at the vision scores real quick as well. I always like to try to point out vision scores. So Harmony did a much better job in game number 2 with their vision scores than they did in game number 1. So good job, Harmony. You realized that was an area that you needed to improve on, and you did. The problem was it still kind of wasn't enough because Thresh still had the most vision score in the entire game, the highest vision score in the entire game. Kaisa and Kindred both had very high vision scores as well. And then for Vel'Koz, he had basically the same vision score as Ziggs. They were only 2 numbers off.
Yeah, I think the only excuse we can make for Taco Taco is he's so busy going forward he forgot the rewards to place.
So yeah, it's looking up for Harmony though. Again, game one was pretty close most of the time, and then they did make some small improvements going into game number 2. So, with a little bit more team practice, I would love to watch these two teams face each other again in the playoffs at the end of the season. But I would love to get a player in here for an interview, if we possibly could, from Imagine Infernal. If Imagine Infernal has anybody that they would like to send over, personally, I would love to talk to Hot, their AD carry. But I mean, I'll take anyone.
Yeah, I'd say definitely see if we can get the 80 carry in, or if we're up for a laugh, let's see if we can get Taco as the second.
Also wouldn't mind Deathblind either, because he really showed off his Lee Sin skills in game number 1. But yeah, Infernal, send somebody to one of the general voice channels in the server. We will move them up here into our chat channel here to do a post-game interview. But while we're waiting on that, Autumn, I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest of the season coming from everyone in Ionia. If this game is any indication of how the season is going to go for the whole division, it looks like a pretty exciting time, and I can't wait. It looks like we do have some people there. If our producer will move one of them up into here for the post game interview, we can get that underway. All right, and here, well, the Discord name does not match up with the summoner name in the game. Are we speaking to the AD carry for Imagine
Yeah.
Infernal?
Yeah, that's me. Hi. Can my
Hi.
support come with?
Oh, you'd like to have your
Bad
support join you?
Please.
Sure. Why not?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
But we
I'm
can
too
move.
shy.
Yeah, we can move your support up here, definitely.
Yeah, it's bad axes. Thank you.
Hey, welcome to the post game interview, both of you. I guess we have Hot here, and we also have Bad Axes.
Yes.
Yes.
So I will have to say that I was pretty impressed, number one, Bad Axes, by your insane vision control throughout both games, but also that's a really good Kaisa.
Yep.
Hey, honestly, I surprised myself. I don't
So,
usually play like that. So.
well, I mean, you could have fooled me based on how that game worked out today.
Oh
So
my
I just want to know, how much prep did your team do leading up to this week, this game today? Do you have anyone on the team that is in charge of like scouting out your opponents? How did that all play out before the match today?
So Taco Taco is the one that's kind of in charge of all that. But me and Larissa have been friends for a while, so we've duo before, we've played a lot of games together before, so we have a lot of preparation as a duo team.
Yeah,
But
we didn't really prep.
Taco Taco was the one that set up. We did some scrims, and he's done all the scouting for us.
Yeah,
Um,
MVP Taco.
so yeah,
Honestly, he
Taco
set
Cool.
up
gets all
like
the credit
everything
there.
else for us. Yeah, but
Cool.
other than
So
that, we had like one scrim day.
oh, okay, yeah, okay, that's good. I'm glad that you guys are getting in some scrims and practice. I guess a follow-up question to that previous one then is that when you're in draft, has the plan already kind of been decided, or is there still a lot of discussion among players on which champions they're going to pick and things like that?
It's kind of a rough idea, so they kind of come into it knowing what they want banned. So like we were looking at everybody's op.gg from the enemy team, and we were kind of like going, okay, what do we need banned, what do we don't?
Hmm.
So like for instance, there wasn't a particular support that I was worried about because I had counters to everything that they were playing. Because they were mostly playing like Nautilus, Senna, etc., warming up yesterday and today. So for that, like we gave up my spot on a band because I didn't need a sport band. So then we just kind of talked in between the games of what we wanted that flex band to be.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Uh, I guess my this probably will be my last question, but so after game one, you had a little bit of a break and you could figure out what you wanted to do for game number two. And I saw that your bands didn't really change, so I'm assuming that you were pretty confident going into game two, but still saw that there was a bit of a change in the picks that were coming through for you guys. You know, you had Kindred for the jungle, Poppy for top lane, Thresh for your support, even though you uh, oh wait, I guess Morgana was banned game two. Never mind. I thought she was left open, so I take
Morgana
that part
and
of it
Lee
back.
was. So yeah,
Um,
both our jungler and support had to switch.
yeah, and it just
Mhm.
felt like Deathblind was not quite the same jungler without Lee Sin, but still played well in game number two. So I just have to ask, like, did your team just want to do the same team comp basically as you did in game one, or were you kind of forced to kind of do the same thing because of some of the bans that went through?
So we were kind of playing in more of like a counter pick role. We were trying to pick our kind of non-negotiables. So like Vel'Koz was something we could pick, and he could kind of play into most things. So that's why we went with like a Vel'Koz start, and then they had locked in the Jhin ADC first, which allowed us to then pick Kai'Sa because Kai'Sa into Jhin isn't a bad matchup.
Yeah, I like
Um,
the mobility.
and then we kind of went from there. So then they picked their support and jungle, I believe. It was Nami Sejuani next.
Mhm.
And from that, we just picked the Thresh because Thresh into Nami just turns that into either a farm lane for us or at worst for them, we're killing them over and over. So that's what it just kind of ended up being. And then the draft kind of continued like that.
Okay, excellent. Autumn, do you have any questions for these two?
The one I guess I can think of here is who. So we know that Taco Taco is apparently also the drive behind the strategy outside of game, and evidently the drive behind some of the crazier plays in game. Who's actually making those calls when he does that? Do you guys have a dedicated shot caller in game, or are you guys more, or are you guys kind of just waiting for Taco to do his thing and then following up on that sort of deal?
I would say once it
Yeah.
comes down to like objectives, I think I'm making most of the calls since I'm getting a lot of
Mhm.
the vision and I'm saying, hey, look, we can do this, we can do that kind of thing. But for the most part, it's kind of just generally talked about. We're just trying to pay attention to the map itself and just be like, okay, where's their jungler? Where's this happening? So a lot of the shot calling is actually coming from like the jungler, I guess, in that like mid role, and then I kind of take over when it comes closer to objectives, saying, "Hey, look, we need to get vision here, and we can probably set up a pick here," kind of thing.
I'm
Okay.
kind of just a sheep, and I just follow whatever he tells me to do.
I mean
So,
that's what Double Lift did for most of his career, so you're allowed to do that as an
hey,
AD
don't worry.
carry.
I was just focused on CS, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, should we be worried about games in the future? Hot, if people ban your Kaisa, are you still gonna
Oh, I
play as
have
well
other
on some other
picks.
champions.
Yeah, I have other picks.
Because I have a feeling you're going to get some Kaisa bans after today, to
Yeah,
be
I'm
honest.
honestly surprised there wasn't one on the second game. And yeah, I'm very surprised. But slightly offended, you know? But you know, it's okay.
Oh,
Fair
trust
point.
I know the feeling. It took
I'm
me 2 seasons before people finally started to ban Lulu.
Yeah.
So I
But
know
I
the
mean, it
feeling,
got us
right?
another win, so I don't mind at the same time.
Yeah, you were 9-0.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you did real well today, Hot. So
thank you.
Mhm.
other teams, watch out for Hot. Ban that Kaisa. Show some respect.
Oh,
Um,
rude.
all
Honestly,
right.
it's real.
Well, congratulations again on the 2-0 start to the season. Good luck in the rest of your games for the season. I don't know. We'll see if any of them get casted, but if not, we'll definitely see you. If you make it to the playoffs, we'll cast you again, at least at that point. So, again, good luck. Thank you for talking to us here after the match. I'll let you get going. We won't keep you here too long. Chat, thank you very much for watching the match today on the Casual EAL Twitch channel. Look forward to more games coming up this week. We got a few on the calendar that we're going to be bringing to you. So in the meantime, if you got some snow in your area, stay safe out there. I got some coming down in my area, so I know I have to be pretty careful here. But stay safe out there in the snow if you're getting some bad weather. Stay safe out there in the pandemic. And we will catch you guys on the next stream. Have a great night, everyone.